unprecedented rail stoppage at Canada's top two railroads could cause billions of dollars worth of economic damage and wreak havoc on North American supply chains. Here's what you need to know. Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Kansas City, or CN and CPKC, locked out more than 9,000 unionized workers on Thursday after failing to reach a labor agreement.
We are the Teamsters that will never give up.
Both companies' deals expired at the end of 2023, and talks have been ongoing since. The stoppage could hamper shipments of everything from grain to potash to vehicles. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stressed the need for a quick solution.
We are on this. We're taking it so seriously. The minister is engaged directly. We are not taking this lightly.
CN and CPKC's coast-to-coast rail networks connect in the U.S. and are linked to operators like BNSF and Union Pacific. The networks act as links to North American trade corridors and ports and help to move billions of dollars worth of goods and commodities. Industry groups are worried the stoppage could ripple throughout the continent. The number 2 railroad operator in the U.S., Union Pacific, has warned the stoppage could have devastating consequences. Ratings agency Moody's says it could cost over $250 million a day. The Canadian and U.S. economies are highly integrated. Tens of billions of dollars worth of agricultural products were imported and exported by both countries last year. Lots of U.S. companies and producers use Canadian ports, especially in the Midwest. So groups representing farmers and miners say they're worried about the potential for crippling supply chain delays, higher costs, and potential shutdowns. Truckers say they can absorb some of the extra demand, but not all of it. They can't replace rail distribution. And there's some cargo that simply can't move by truck, like bulk shipments of potash or coal. Canada's Labour Minister has broad powers and can order the sides to enter binding arbitration, an idea one government source said is being explored.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I also want to thank the briefers.
Colleagues, Secretary Blinken just concluded his 9th visit to the region since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th and unleashed a war that has caused so much suffering and devastation. The Secretary reaffirmed the United States' ironclad support for Israel's security, but he also aimed to advance discussions on a comprehensive ceasefire and hostage release deal that now is in sight. Israel has accepted the bridging proposal. Now Hamas must do the same. As members of this council, we must speak with one voice, and we must use our leverage to press Hamas to accept the bridging proposal, which includes massive and immediate benefits for the Palestinians in Gaza and incorporates a number of Hamas's earlier demands.
Ukrainian volunteers helped move those who could not move themselves on Thursday, ahead of advancing Russian forces in the eastern Donetsk region. Maria Moiseyeva is 94 years old. Her relative, Lyudmila Sidorenko, helps her pack her things. It's not the first time they've been forced to flee.
Everyone is in panic. People are running away. I went outside and I was shocked. People with cardboard boxes there. Mass evacuation. I don't know. We don't want to leave, but we have to. We thought we could stay here. I don't know. It's very difficult. I am sending her. I have no idea what to say. We came here from Bakhmut.
Starting from August 20th, Donetsk regional authorities ordered mandatory evacuation of families with children here in Pokrovsk and nearby towns. The Russian military has been steadily grinding forward in Donetsk, one of 4 Ukrainian regions Moscow claims it has annexed. But Russia does not yet fully control the territory. Ukraine's losses in the east come as it presses its incursion into Russia's Kursk region, maintaining, for now, its surprise gains. Kiev says it plans to carve out a buffer zone to better defend itself. Video released on Thursday showed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky meeting his top commander near the border, where he announced the capture of another Russian village. Ukraine's Air Force on Wednesday shared this footage of what it said were strikes on Kursk. The Ukraine surprise operation, using Western military hardware, boosted Kiev's morale 2 years after Russia's unprovoked invasion. But Kiev's attack on Kursk hasn't relieved pressure on Donetsk. Roman Koltsov is a Ukrainian volunteer with the charity group East SOS. He told Reuters the situation in Pokrovsk and nearby towns deteriorated because the Russian army is advancing and very close to the city.
Authorities did not inform locals properly, therefore locals are reluctant to leave. We evacuate people with reduced mobility, patients from the hospitals, those who call the hotline.
Ukraine's military said there were 46 Russian attacks on the Pokrovsk front over the course of Wednesday.
After weeks of heated dispute, Venezuela's Supreme Court has certified President Nicolas Maduro's election win. The vote sparked deadly anti-government protests, followed by what human rights groups have called a crackdown on dissent by Maduro's administration. There have been arrests of opposition figures and protesters, along with forced resignations of state employees with alleged pro-opposition views. On Thursday, Chief Justice Caraslia Rodriguez said the Supreme Tribunal had reviewed material from the Electoral Authority and that Maduro's win was valid. The opposition party, however, says the Supreme Court has no constitutional right to carry out any electoral functions, making its ruling null. The opposition, led by Edmundo Gonzalez, had published election results which gave him 67% support. The Electoral Authority said Maduro won just over half of the votes, but has not published full tallies. Many Western countries have urged full publication of the results. Thursday's Supreme Court ratification gives Maduro, who took office in 2013, another 6-year term starting in January.
Indonesia's outgoing parliament shelved plans to change election laws on Thursday as thousands of protesters gathered outside parliament and across the country. Security forces used tear gas and water cannons to disperse protesters, who breached and set ablaze part of the gates of Parliament, television footage showed. The protests were sparked by a battle over which government agency has ultimate jurisdiction in determining election rules. The legislature, dominated by supporters of outgoing President Joko Widodo, was set to vote to reverse changes to election laws made by the Constitutional Court on Thursday. If successful, it could have blocked a vocal government critic of the president from running for the important post of Jakarta governor. The move would have also paved the way for Jokowi's youngest son to run in elections this November. Indonesia's deputy parliament speaker told Reuters that deliberations will continue in the parliament's next sitting period, meaning there would be no change for this year's regional elections, scheduled for November. Jokowi leaves office in October. Students protesting on Thursday vowed to fight on.
This is only our first response, so even though today the ruling isn't annulled, we will keep fighting and we will deploy more masses. This is only the beginning to how we fight against despotism of democracy in Indonesia.
Analysts say the wave of protests comes amid mounting anger with what is seen as the Jokowi administration's attempts to consolidate power.
The humanitarian crisis in Sudan has worsened cholera infections, with nearly 600 cases reported since July. Here is Sudanese Health Minister Haitham Mohamed Ibrahim.
We have sent investigative and monitoring teams to identify the locations that are contagious, the water in some places, and the drinking from the ponds. We have distributed chlorine with the help of UNICEF and the World Health Organization, and we have opened treatment and isolation centers in several neighborhoods in Kassala and Al-Qadarif states. Currently, we are regularly intervening, and in the coming days we will be starting a campaign that offers drinkable water mainly in these states.
Al-Qadarif health official Mohammed Dawood said the influx of people due to the ongoing war is straining the city's resources, aiding in the spread of diseases like cholera and conjunctivitis.
More than 80% of the diseases we are facing are ones related to the deterioration of the environment, whether diseases that spread by insects, diseases because of the water quality, or diseases related to the lack of proper sewage and the unavailability of suitable toilets.
The country is also suffering the world's largest hunger crisis, with some 25.6 million people suffering acute hunger And the healthcare system is in disarray due to the lack of access to aid in many of the country's provinces.
U.S. stocks fell across the board Thursday as all of the mega-cap technology stocks in the Magnificent Seven lost ground. The Dow slid 0.4%, the S&P 500 dropped about 0.9%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq finished down nearly 1.7%. The declines come ahead of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's speech Friday in Jackson Hole at the central bank's annual economic symposium there. He is expected to assure the markets that the Fed will cut interest rates in September. Traders see a 75% chance of a 25 basis point reduction then, and just a 25% chance of a 50 basis point cut, according to CME's FedWatch tool. FBB Capital Partners President Mike Muscio says investors will be paying close attention to Powell's speech.
What we think investors should be listening for tomorrow from Fed Chair Powell is a tone that supports a trajectory of rate cuts at a pace that is reasonable, that would support a soft landing type of path for the economy. If they hear anything that seems a little bit more concerning, and that might be supported by the support of a 50 basis point cut, I think participants could get a little bit jittery that the Fed is seeing something in the data that maybe we aren't.
Stocks on the move included Zoom Video Communications, which jumped 13% after raising its annual revenue forecast. And Urban Outfitters plunged 9.6% after the apparel retailer posted quarterly same-store sales growth that missed forecasts.
Chinese regulators are expected to give PricewaterhouseCoopers China unit a 6-month business ban. Part of the company's punishment over its audit of troubled property giant China Evergrande Group. That's according to 5 sources. PwC came under scrutiny for its role in auditing Evergrande after China's security regulator in March accused the property developer of a $78 billion fraud. PwC audited Evergrande for almost 14 years until early 2023. Combined with a fine of $56 million, this action against PwC marks the toughest ever penalty received by a Big Four accounting firm in China, 3 sources said. They added that the 6-month ban will focus on the securities-related business within PwC Chongtian, the main onshore arm of PwC in China. Sources said the firm would be barred from signing off on certain key documents for clients in mainland China, such as results and IPO applications. The looming penalties have caused turbulence for PwC. Sources said it's led to an exodus of clientele and prompted cost cuts and layoffs at the firm in recent months. The business suspension could also affect PwC Chongtian from taking on new state-owned or listed clients in the next 3 years, as per Chinese regulations. The watchdog's punitive measures, which sources say are yet to be finalised, could seriously cloud the firm's prospects in the world's second-largest economy.
Walmart is offering its members a whopper of a deal. It has partnered with Burger King owner Restaurant Brands to offer free burgers and other benefits to its Walmart Plus members. The moves are part of its effort to better compete with Amazon Prime. It also comes as retailers and fast food restaurant chains launch value deals to lure price-conscious customers after struggling to lift demand. Walmart members can receive 25% off any digital order at Burger King every day and a free Whopper every 3 months with any purchase at the chain. Amazon said in May its U.S. customers could order from online delivery firm Grubhub directly on its shopping app and the website, extending a deal that already offers its Prime members a no-fee access to Grubhub Plus membership. Shares of Walmart were up fractionally in Thursday morning trading.
Cruise on an impossible mission to turn back time. At 62, the Mission Impossible star has built a reputation for defying both death with his daring stunts and aging with his youthful looks. But his recent appearances have sparked concern that his efforts to stay young might be having the opposite effect. From a bloated, chipmunk-like face in 2021 to a more gaunt, sagging look in 2023, Cruise has fueled rumors of him taking extreme anti-aging treatments. So, is the Fountain of Youth coming with a few unwanted side effects? Insiders claim that Cruise has gone overboard with surgeries and beauty treatments, leaving his face sagging and collapsing in strange ways. One source shared, Tom may never admit it, but the truth is written all over his face. Plastic surgeons have also weighed in, speculating that Cruise's changing appearance could be the result of procedures like liposuction and pec implants. Dr. David Hill explained that the loose skin on Cruise's torso might indicate surgical intervention, but he admitted if they did it well. Even so, some experts believe that the natural signs of aging are still showing through. Cosmetic surgeon Dr. Yapa suggested that Cruise might have had a recent facelift, which could explain the puffy and bloated look fans noticed during his viral appearance at the Paris Olympics. The downside? Overdone facelifts can result in a mask-like appearance, where the mid-face doesn't move naturally, a risk that Cruise might now be facing. Despite all the speculation, Cruise isn't slowing down. He continues to explore the latest rejuvenation techniques, including stem cells and lasers, as he's convinced he can turn back the clock. But fans are worried. Some are urging him to embrace aging gracefully, warning that his quest for eternal youth could leave him looking less like himself. In the end, it seems Tom Cruise is on his toughest mission yet, fighting time. But with all the risks involved, the real question is, at what cost? Aging may be impossible to avoid, but it's starting to look like a mission that even Ethan Hunt might not be able to complete.
ผู้หญิงเหรอผู้หญิงเจอกระเป๋าเหรอเห็นแล้วครับเป็นเครื่องบินเล็กนะเราสามารถดำเนินการได้เลยอุปกรณ์กระเป๋าข้างในมีเสื้อผ้าแล้วก็เอกสารครับบอกก็ได้ยินเสียงวิเดียววิก็ปังระเบิดอ่ะมันระเบิดก่อนนะเหมือนจะปีกมันอ่ะปีกปีกสั้นๆหักอยู่อ่ะ
ต้องเดี๋ยวเอาแป๊บนึงส่วนราชการ